Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. And today I come to you from the other side of Sydney. I'm over here on the Piermont side at the Museum of the Maritime Museum, should I say, the Maritime Museum. And let me just give you a visual perspective of where I am. You can see the magnificent buildings there of Barangaroo with the casino and the other magnificent buildings, and it's quite spectacular, as you can see. And you can see the whole cityscape across the water here. How beautiful is this part of Sydney? It's a glorious day. I just caught the ferry from Circular Quay and thought I'd come over here for some nostalgia. Not sure if you're aware where I am, but I'm at a place called the Welcome Wall. The Welcome Wall is a wall here at the Maritime Museum that commemorates the migrants who sailed from all over the world, who came from all over the world to become part of the important fabric of Australia, the new Australians who shaped this beautiful country and turned it from a day of the past and brought it to where we are today, a thriving metropolis, a place which is probably the most prized place in the whole wide world, especially this year with COVID-19 and all the challenges that the world faces. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world other than Sydney right now, because it's glorious, it's peaceful, it's safe, and it's probably the greatest postcode you could ever hope to endure. Anyway, let me take you on a bit of a journey. Back in 1999, my parents sold, or 1998 should I say, sold their business in Westfield, Parramatta, a business that they'd been running for almost 25 years. And my mother looked forward to the day that she retired so she could spend some time with her granddaughters and her family and travel and do all those wonderful things. The week after they sold their business, she went on a holiday with my father, my wife Paula, and two granddaughters, Artemis and Catherine, and they went up to Nelson Bay just to spend some time. And she had a bit of a cough, which wasn't much of a concern, but she came back to Sydney, went to the doctor, and we found out that cough was a cancer in her body, and it was an unknown primary. And to cut a long story short, 6 months later she passed away with tremendous suffering and a lot of pain. But before she passed away, I found out that this wall, this welcome wall, was about to do a reveal in November of 98. I think the first reveal was November 98. And I wrote to them, talking to them and telling them about the predicament that I was in, that my mother was ill, she was terminally ill, and I dearly wanted to have her name and my father's name added to the list of that first reveal. They came back to me saying that the deadline had passed, and unfortunately we weren't able to make that reveal. But I wrote back to them, I called them, and I explained to them once again the severity of my mother's illness, and they made one beautiful exception and allowed me to include the name of my parents and my in-laws, and it would be a special order that would be added to the list. And my mother's name and my father's name and my mother-in-law and father-in-law's name made it to the list. And you can see here, it's an amorphous mass. You see name after name after name added to this welcome wall of migrants from all countries of the world. But I did get a chance to bring my mother down here, and I brought her here to this very place here, and I showed her the inscription of her name. And as you can see there, my father's name is Panayotis Paniaras, and my mother is, her maiden name, Katina Kalpaxis. And I remember her taking her finger and just running her finger like this along the indentation and saying, "Thank you very much, son. This means a lot to me." So there you go. We're on panel number 8, column number 2, and there are lots of other people here, friends and families. So what do we get from this? I guess the important thing is for all of us, for everybody whose parents made the great journey across the waters, to celebrate their feat and to make sure that you get their names engraved in this wall for posterity, so that your children, your grandchildren and future generations can come down here and recognise and acknowledge the fact that their ancestors were part of those first boat people or first plane people to have made this journey and have changed their destination of residence from a place on the other side of the world and made Sydney, Australia, their home. It's a big step, it's a big challenge to leave everything you know and all of those that you love and take a leap of faith and get in a boat and travel to the other side of the world. My father was telling me that before they came to Australia, they all went to the Cafeneo and sat around a big table with a map of the world, and they were looking on the map of the world to find where Australia was. They were looking near Crete, they were looking close to Italy, they were looking a little further away towards to the Middle East. And then one person said, "Hey, where are you looking? Australia is over here." And he pointed at the bottom of the map onto the other side of the world, and they were absolutely shocked to think that they were going to travel so far away and be on the other side of the world. My mother and father took many, many years to travel back to Greece. My father took 35 years, and my mother took about 35 years as well to return to Greece. They returned separately, and they never got the chance to travel. I think they did travel together. Let me think about that. But it was a long time between drinks. So that's basically it. That's my story for today, and a very nostalgic one and a beautiful story. So if you get a chance, come down here to the Maritime Museum. It's at the Pyrmont Bay Wharf. You can catch the ferry and alight here from Circular Quay, and it's right here in front of you. But I do encourage each and every one of you to celebrate your parents' journey, that leap of faith, and to once again be very, very proud that they made the journey, and they made a magnificent difference. All the migrants, all the boat people, all the people who chose to make Sydney their home are the ones that we have to thank for being able to live here, to work here, to bring up our children and our grandchildren, to be educated here, and to call Sydney our home, and to be honoured to have one of the greatest postcodes in the world. As I've said time and time again, there's no other place in the world that I'd rather live and bring up my children and grandchildren than Sydney, Australia. Let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, and most importantly, let's celebrate all our first settlers, pay homage to our elders, past and present, and to remember that it's them, and mainly them, who we need to thank for what we have today. For they have all contributed to make Australia the most beautiful and awesome place in the world, and a place that we're lucky to be able to call home. Take care, yasas, and I'll come again tomorrow from another location with another message, but wishing you all the very best.